At this point, I don't even know where to begin with any of this. What's going on, everyone? It's Rody, and welcome back to another video. I feel like every time I talk about Destiny now, it's something bad. Like, this game I used to love is just becoming progressively worse. And I don't even mean just like content-wise, I mean just in any sense of the word. Like, this has gotten to the point where I have scripted this video 7 times. It was 6 times when I was ready to throw in the towel. And then I was like, let me try this one more time. And no matter how hard I tried, I could not get my feelings out in a sincere and concise way. So if this feels very messy, or this feels very all over the place, I do apologize. But I'm just going to try in one take this, just do it all in one because, like I said, at this point, I just don't know what else to say. And in case you're unaware, really what I'm referring to here is the layoffs that had happened at Bungie over a week ago now. And what really bothers me about the whole situation is, one, they're acting like nothing's happening. 2, they're acting like nothing's happening, and they're trying to not only cover it up, but they're trying to make it like it's not a big deal. 3, they thought people weren't gonna come out and say things. And 4, and arguably the most, sad part of this is there's no accountability. Because what really happened was you had all these layoffs that happened. All these hardworking people that, put their heart and soul into this game. Maybe not even just Destiny. Because some of these people have been there since, the Halo days. Like, when it was just Halo and no Destiny or anything like that. So some of these people, like the music guy that got laid off, he's been there forever. I think it was, 13, 14 years or something. So, put that into perspective. That really no one was safe. But at the same time, it's like, I forget who said it. I forget what his name was. But he did his own video on this, and I watched snippets of it on TikTok. And he said, it's one thing to do this. It's another thing to not own up to it, because there's Bungie and then there's Sony. And Sony bought Bungie. And for those of you that aren't aware, I'm pretty sure that's known at this point. So what should have happened is if they were like, okay, you do what you gotta do, right? Sony says to Bungie, do what you gotta do. So they lay off all these people. Sony should have then came back and been like, okay, the management that was in charge of those specific things, or the things that were making things not how they should be, perform how they should, because clearly the Destiny is not, going as they hoped. There's been a very big disconnect. There's been a very big, player drop. So Sony should have been like, okay, this was your fault. This was your problem. You get lost. And that hasn't happened. Now, I'm not pointing the finger at anyone because we really don't know, It's not just one person. But, to sit here and just let something like this happen and then not have some kind of accountability, like I said, is just mind-boggling to me. And, the big thing with it to me is that some of these people who got laid off came out and said, and I quote, "We brought this to their attention before," meaning they went to whoever, they needed to go to and said, listen, this is not working. We need to change this if this is going to work. If this game is going to keep going, we need to change something. And you know what they got? They got we'll look into it. And now they don't have a job. So how are we as a community supposed to stand behind this company that is doing things like this? And I know what some of you might be thinking is like, okay, well, they could just be going out and saying this. But when there is multiple people in the Destiny community that know these people personally, either from conventions or community summits, which community summits are how people would get flown out to play Call of Duty. Bungie does the same thing for Destiny, but they call them summits. So that's what that means. So, these are people that people in the Destiny community do know. Some of them not, but some of them they do. And for them to put their name on this as well is something I really find hard to believe that they would lie about. And I'm talking about both sides. I don't think the people who got let go would do this in a harsh way, and I don't think that the people who are, vouching for these people would do this either. So that's another thing that kind of baffles me with this. Is like, are you really that stubborn right now that you're not only gonna sit there and lay off these people, but you're not even gonna take into consideration what they were telling you? You're just gonna act like it's not even there and then still do this stuff anyway? I just don't get it. And I really don't know where this line needs to be drawn, because it's a business like anything else. And what they do as a business is not our problem. Like, they're not going to come out and tell us, oh, we lost $3 million in the past 2 quarters because of the underperformance of our video game. Like, they're not going to come out and say that. That's not how a business model works. So I'm sure there are people who do know this stuff, but it's never going to be released to, like, us, the Destiny community, the people who play it. But I feel like there has to be a point where some things do get said to us. Like, it's no surprise that the game is not performing how they want it to. That is not a surprise. I mean, I don't even know what gameplay I'm going to use in the background of this, because I don't even want to sign on to the game right now, because I feel like it would be not fun for me. And coming from where I was, where I wanted to come home and play this game religiously, to where I don't even want to get on for 10 minutes to just do something, like even a strike, like even that sounds like it's gonna be not fun to me. So, even giving the bare minimum to this game right now, as someone who's a diehard fan of this, just sounds like a chore. And if that doesn't sound like a problem to you, then I don't know what kind of business you're running. Because you can't sit there and tell me that what you're doing is working, but then how I'm feeling is also how majority of the player base is feeling. And, to kind of close things out here, it's also being kind of hinted that the final shape, the expansion that's supposed to come out in February, is getting delayed. Now, I could be wrong. I really haven't been on social media a lot lately. Bungie could have announced this already, but at the time of when all these layoffs were happening, they were not confirming this. And if it's anything like the Witch Queen situation, Witch Queen was different in the sense there was COVID, there was all this stuff. But they knew, right off the bat, they were like, listen, we don't have the resources, things are tough, we need more time. They came out and said that, so they had a contingency plan. We had the 30th anniversary that was going to be happening. Then we had the extended season for Season of the Lost. We knew this. We don't know what's going to happen. If these rumors are true, we just don't know what's happening. Are they going to extend the next season? Are we going to get some kind of 30th anniversary thing where it's going to be like, not an expansion or not a season, but it's going to be like this small little extra thing? Like, we don't know. And how are we supposed to put our faith and trust in a company that has been doing all these things to, fill this void in a way that's going to keep us occupied and keep us happy? Because if they can't even keep us happy with their planned content, how are they supposed to do this with something that they're not prepared for? Because right now, they are not, keeping people's trust. Which leads me to, I guess, my last point of this whole rant is that what can Bungie even do at this point to get people's trust back? Because it's like they earn it back a little, then they step on it. They earn it back a little, then they spit in your face. They earn it back a little, then they just throw it on the ground. It's this vicious cycle, and people are done with it, myself included. So I don't even know what Bungie can do at this point to earn the people's trust back, because something needs to change, but none of us have the answer as to what. But it's also not our problem to have the answer as to what, because we're giving you the feedback. We're telling you what's wrong. You guys can see why we're not happy. You're just not doing anything about it. So again, as a business model, I don't see how you find this successful. It's almost like they're going out of their way to not listen to us. And that's what pisses a lot of people off, even though that's probably not the case. That's just how it's coming off at this point, because this is the same old song and dance we've been going through. So I really just don't know how to feel about the whole situation. It's very clear to everyone, I'm sure, that, you know, I haven't been playing Destiny. I haven't been playing video games at all in a while. In back when I was streaming, like, you know, semi full time, when I still had my schedule and everything, things have been rough lately. But even when I was like streaming, you know, semi regularly, I even made a statement when I was live saying we're not going to play Destiny on stream anymore unless there's some kind of big event, like the final week of the season, if there's going to be some kind of big event, or if there's like a new raid or a new dungeon or like the new season starts. Those are the only times I was ever going to broadcast Destiny. Other than that, I was going out of my way to do different things because it was just what I felt was keeping me in a better headspace. And there's people out there who unfortunately don't have that luxury, who their fan base is Destiny, where they physically cannot play another game because their viewer counts will drop so much that, you know, this is their living, this is how they make money, you know, that they might be streaming, they might be a YouTuber, you know. And to take that risk of not earning a paycheck like as substantial as you need is not a risk you can really take if this is your livelihood. And, you know, put yourself in that situation of like, you know, it's like you are doing this thing that makes you so unhappy, but at the same time it's like you need to do it because if you don't, you might not be able to pay your rent, you might not be able to pay your bills, you might not be able to eat, you might not be able to pay your car. You know, put that into perspective. So it's like, I don't even have the word to describe it because it makes me so upset, because I've been in situations like that before where I didn't like my job, where I was showing up to work every day and like was more stressed out about the fact like of getting through the day than I was of actually, like, you know, doing my job. Like, it was the fact of going to my job that was stressful, not even doing my job. So imagine like your job is to play video games for a living, where you're supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be building this community, but even your community understands it, you know, that you need to do this because this is how you make your money, but at the end of the day they also know you're unhappy. Like, there's those people who will be like, do what you got to do what you want to do, but then the wider variety is gonna fall off and be like, well, we come only for this. And how can you as a company stand by and allow something like this? You know, it's almost like you're saying, well, we're making money, so we don't care how you make yours. And as much as I understand that, it doesn't make it right. So I realized this was probably all over the place. I realized, like, again, this was not scripted. I couldn't really, again, figure out how to put these feelings into a script without it sounding like robotic almost. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you guys understand my point, my standpoint. I do have something planned for the very near future, probably in the coming few days. Once I get some free time to sit down and actually, you know, start playing it, I do have a series I want to start. I might stream it a little. I'm not going to really, you know, say whether I will or won't. I'm not going to commit to that because time is very tight right now. But in the time I do have, I do want to start playing this new game. It's completely something different. I will tell you guys that right now. So I've never posted anything like this before. Maybe once, like 9 years ago. But other than that, it was like never heard of me to do this. And I'm still hesitant, but I'm doing it because I've heard good things. So if you guys are excited for that, leave a like. Let me know how you guys feel about the whole situation. Let me know if you're keeping up with it. Let me know if you're just done like I am. I mean, I just don't know anymore. But it's been Brody, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.